Being the ruler of the Underworld certainly comes with drawbacks. Yes, you have your own domain, but it's terrible for your image. After all, managing a realm full of souls doesn't exactly boost your social standing. Add a fiery-haired, fast-talking portrayal in a popular Disney movie, and you've got a PR nightmare. But is this infamous ruler of the Underworld truly the villain he's made out to be? Or is there more to this story? Today, we explore the truth about Hades, the most misunderstood god of Greek mythology. So, who exactly is Hades? Often misunderstood, Hades is the god of the underworld and the dead, but let's clear up a common misconception right away. He is not the god of death itself. That grim distinction belongs to Thanatos. Hades instead governs the realm where the souls reside after their mortal journey ends. Hades is often depicted as a dignified figure, exuding an aura of authority and fairness. Unlike his fiery cinematic counterpart, the real Hades is usually shown with dark hair and a solemn expression, often crowned with an emblematic helm known as the Helm of Darkness, which grants him the power to become invisible. This tool reveals a preference for subtlety over showmanship. As one of the big three, alongside his brother Zeus, the god of the sky, and Poseidon, the god of the sea, Hades played a pivotal role in the overthrow of their father, Cronus, and the Titans. Upon dividing the cosmos, Zeus claimed the heavens, Poseidon seized the sea, and Hades was allotted the underworld. It's a kingdom that, frankly, doesn't win many popularity contests. Yet, despite his dark domain, Hades' role is essential, maintaining the balance between the world of the living and the realm of the dead. The underworld is far more than a mere repository of souls. It's a richly varied realm, woven with areas both stark and sublime. The first formidable barrier one encounters is the river Styx. This sacred river encircles the underworld, forming a boundary between the living world and the realm of the dead. The souls of the departed must be ferried across by Charon, the boatman, a journey that can only be undertaken with proper payment. At the very entrance of the underworld stands Cerberus, the fearsome three-headed dog. His role is crucial, ensuring the dead do not escape and the living do not enter without permission. Deeper within this somber realm lies Hades' imposing palace, a structure embodying dark majesty and power. It is from here that Hades governs, his rule absolute and his judgments final. For the souls of mortals, the underworld holds distinct regions based on their earthly deeds. Tartarus, the deepest pit beneath the earth, is reserved for those who defied the gods or committed heinous acts. It is a place of punishment and torment, where justice is meted out in its harshest forms. In contrast, the Elysian fields offer an idyllic respite, a heavenly reward for those who lived lives of great virtue or heroism. Here, the blessed enjoy an eternal paradise, far removed from the gloom of Tartarus. Most souls find their place in the Asphodel Meadows, a vast, neutral zone where the undistinguished and ordinary souls reside. It's a realm of eternal twilight, where memories and earthly ties begin to fade, mirroring the lives these souls led, neither notably good nor bad. Each of these areas reflects the complex nature of the underworld. Far from being merely a place of damnation, it embodies a system of order and justice reflective of Hades' rule. Despite the rich complexity of his domain, Hades himself is often shrouded in misconceptions that paint him as a malevolent deity. But why is Hades so frequently associated with evil? A large part of this stems from cultural bias. Death, the unknown, and the afterlife often evoke fear and misunderstanding, qualities easily misattributed to the god presiding over them. Moreover, with the advent of Christian theology, many characteristics of Hades were conflated with those of Satan, leading to an inherently negative connotation. This comparison skews the Greek view, where Hades, unlike Satan, is not a figure of evil, but rather a necessary and neutral force within the cosmos. If we strip back these later interpretations and focus on his original mythological character, a different image of Hades emerges. He is depicted as a fair and just ruler, often described as stern but adhering strictly to the rules. His fairness is evident in numerous myths, where he makes decisions based on not whims or personal vendettas, but on the laws that govern both the living and the dead. His relationship with Persephone also sheds light on his character. Despite the initial forcefulness of the abduction, their story evolves into one of mutual respect and rule, with Persephone reigning as queen of the underworld for part of each year. This tale, often misunderstood, actually reflects the ancient Greek cycles of life and death, representing regeneration and the changing seasons, rather than a simple narrative of capture and dominance. In fact, let's explore this myth a little deeper. The story of Persephone, often misunderstood, offers profound insights into the nature of Hades and his realm. Persephone, the daughter of Demeter, goddess of the harvest, was gathering flowers when Hades, struck by her beauty, brought her to the underworld to be his queen. This action, while initially appearing forceful, unfolds into a complex narrative of mutual respect and shared authority. As queen of the underworld, Persephone's presence and absence from the world above are what dictate the changing seasons, embodying the cycle of life and death, decay and regeneration. This division of her time, 6 months in the underworld during fall and winter and 6 months with her mother during the spring and summer, illustrates a balance essential to both the natural world and the underworld's governance. This arrangement was not reached through tyranny, but through negotiation and compromise, involving Zeus, Demeter and Hades. Persephone eating the pomegranate seeds, binding her to the underworld for part of the year, symbolizes not just captivity, but her acceptance of a dual role that impacts both realms. Moving beyond Persephone, another illustrative myth is that of Orpheus, the legendary musician who dared to venture into the underworld to retrieve his wife, Eurydice. Moved by Orpheus's sorrow and his lyrical pleas, Hades agreed to allow Eurydice to return to the living, provided Orpheus would not look back until reaching the surface. This story, though tragic due to Orpheus's failure to adhere to the condition, underscores Hades' willingness to bend the rules, albeit with the framework of a fair trial. In fact, you could say Hades was a bit of an angel in comparison to his fellow deities, whose misadventures included Zeus and his penchant for not only juggling multiple affairs but also handing out excessively harsh punishments, chaining a titan to a rock for giving fire to humanity. He's certainly not winning any Deity of the Year awards. Poseidon, the drama king of the sea, loved a good flood or releasing a kraken when things didn't go his way. Nothing like a sea monster to liven up a Tuesday. Hera took helicopter parenting to another level, turning her wrath not just on Zeus's flings, but also on their offspring, like Hercules, making his life miserable just because he existed. Athena might be the goddess of wisdom, but turning a woman into a monster for being victimized within her temple doesn't sound very judicious. Apollo and Artemis, the twin deities who thought wiping out someone's entire family was fair punishment for bragging. Maybe a stern talking to could have sufficed. Ares, always eager to escalate a fight into a war. Nothing says overreaction like bringing swords to a fistfight. Aphrodite, stirring up trouble with golden apples and sparkly beauty contests that led to the Trojan War, because what's a decade of warfare compared to winning a beauty pageant? Hephaestus, crafting all manner of deadly weapons and traps, not to mention creating a golden throne that trapped his own mother, Hera. Who needs family therapy when you have engineering skills? Demeter, who would let the whole world starve just to get her daughter back. Maybe open with negotiations next time? Dionysus, the god of wine and revelry, who could turn any celebration into chaos, sometimes driving people to madness with his festivities. Hermes, the divine trickster, was stealing from the day he was born, even stole Apollo's cattle as a baby. Talk about starting young. Compared to his peers, Hades was practically a model of decorum. While the other Olympians were often busy wreaking havoc or dealing out harsh punishments, Hades stuck to the fine print, managing the underworld with a surprising amount of fairness. While the antics of the other Olympians often grabbed the headlines, so to speak, Hades' role as ruler of the underworld was marked by a quieter, albeit profound respect in ancient Greece. Unlike other gods who were celebrated with numerous temples and festivals, Hades' worship was more subdued, reflecting the solemn nature of his domain. However, this didn't mean he was less revered. His crucial role in the cycle of life and death ensured that he was respected, albeit with a certain degree of fear and awe. Hades' attributes and symbols reflect his powerful and pivotal role in mythology. The Helm of Darkness, also known as the Cap of Invisibility, allowed him to become invisible, a tool that symbolized his ability to oversee the dead unseen and manage the secrets of the afterlife. Then there's the bident, a two-pronged implement akin to Poseidon's trident, which signified his dominion over the underworld and his status as a formidable force among the gods. Despite the fearful aspects of these symbols, they underscore Hades' responsibility and fairness in maintaining the balance between the mortal and immortal realms. His role, essential yet daunting, was acknowledged through rituals and offerings, particularly during funerary rites, where Greeks would invoke his name to ensure the safe passage of the deceased into the underworld. Throughout our journey today, we've explored the true nature of Hades, often misrepresented in popular culture and misunderstood by many. As the ruler of the underworld, Hades presides over a realm that is indeed dark and mysterious, but this does not make him the embodiment of evil. Instead, we've seen that Hades plays a critical role in the balance of life and death, adhering to a set of rules that govern the afterlife with fairness and justice. So next time you think of Hades, remember, even in the darkest corners of myths, there are shades of grey worth exploring. He may govern the dead, but in the realms of Greek mythology, Hades is a figure of order and necessity, whose stories enrich our understanding of life, death, and the divine.